My mother despises my fiancé and is threatening to cut off communication with me if I proceed with our engagement. I am recently engaged and my mother has been throwing a fit. My fiancé and I met in early 2020 via Bumble. We had an instant connection and I couldn't have been happier. After an argument, we separated for about a month, but after several conversations and hearing each side out, we got back together much stronger than when we started. My mom hasn't been happy since then, over a year later. I'm a teacher and on spring break 2 weeks ago, he and I took a road trip to go snowboarding at various resorts out of state. At the beginning of the week, I had told him that there was a date coming up that was difficult for my family. It was the anniversary of my grandparents' passing. This happened over 20 years ago, but my mom still wallows in sadness every year. I told him that in recent years, I had been making it a point to do something good or happy that day so that it wouldn't forever be associated with something sad. He proposed to me 2 weeks ago on that day, and of course the first person I wanted to call was my mom. She didn't pick up. I texted her the picture he took of me with the ring, and she just wrote back that she was stressed at work that day, but that the scenery was nice. I texted back asking if she noticed anything on my hand, and she replied, "Oh my God." She then called me and said that today was not a good day, that she was swamped at work, and that I knew what today was, and that she can't handle any other thing being thrown on her plate. I told her that I would call her later that day, but ultimately I didn't because I knew she would make it about herself, which on my engagement day, I didn't want to deal with. When we got back from the road trip, my fiancé dropped me off at their place. It was a chance for me to talk with them one-on-one. She wanted to see the ring, commenting on how beautiful it was. I also showed her and my dad the video of my fiancé took of the proposal. She then took out their wedding album and showed me pictures and asked about what tentative plans we had. I told her that we picked out a venue, the place where we proposed, and that the date was going to be August of 2023. She then said, "Okay, well that's a while from now. Plenty of things can change between now and then." When I got home with our dog, my fiancé suggested my parents come over for breakfast so we could properly celebrate the next morning. They agreed, and the minute they got there, my mom completely ignored him. My dad went up to him, gave him a hug, and said congratulations to him. Instead of anything from my mom, she went into wedding planning mode with me and making a guest list saying I need to invite people that I haven't talked to in years, simply because they're family, and essentially saying that it's absolutely necessary. I told her that I want to keep it to less than 60 people, and with everyone she's included, I had over 60 people on my invite list alone. My fiancé is South American and has a few friends in the United States, and we're working to get some of his family members to the States. Either way, his list is about 15 to 20 people, and she didn't even take those folks into consideration. She would also ask me questions about what color we want to use or what he wants to wear, and I keep suggesting that she ask him directly since he was 10 feet away from her making breakfast and wanting to be a part of the process. She barely acknowledged his existence the entire time. After breakfast, my mom and I took my dog on a walk, and she asked me, for probably the 10th time since we had been back together, what changed with him? I told her, like every time she asks, that he and I had a long conversation and are happy with getting back together. And if she really wants to know what changed with him, she could ask him directly. She hates confrontation, so I know that's why it's never going to happen. In the time that she and I were gone, my fiancé was at home with my dad, and he discussed with him that he's here to stay. He will take care of me, and he knows that there is some kind of awkwardness between him and my mom and wants to fix it. My dad said to let it be, and she'll get over herself at some point, but that my dad has no problem with him and is happy to call him his son-in-law. The next morning, I was dropping off my dog on the way to school to my parents. I calmly told my mom that I didn't appreciate how she ignored my fiancé's existence yesterday when we were talking about the wedding. She replied, "It was intentional." I told her that he wants to be a part of the planning process and he wants to sit down with her and clear the air. She was playing a game on her phone the entire time I was saying this and said, "I don't care about his feelings. I want nothing to do with him." Since then, a week and a half later, my mother has been giving me the silent treatment. She and my dad's anniversary was earlier this week, and I said happy anniversary to them, and he said thanks. She didn't even acknowledge that I was there at all. She was staring at the television, completely ignoring me. I told her I loved her and I was leaving, and still absolutely nothing. This morning, I wanted to at least see if she acknowledged me, so I went to where she was getting ready and told her good morning. She said, "We need to disentangle ourselves financially from you because I'm done. You don't want to hear what I have to say. I don't agree with him. I don't agree with the engagement. I think you're settling. You seem to prioritize him over everyone else in your life. If you need me in case of an emergency, I'll be there. But otherwise, day-to-day things, I'm done." none. I told her that we'll talk this evening when she and I don't have to be at work at a specific time. I'm at such a loss for words. She has pulled this behavior too many times and I'm over it. I have suggested therapy since I truly think she's been depressed since my grandparents passed away. She loves to dwell on the past. Yes, therapy costs money and she's very stingy with her money, but it doesn't mean you're weak. I've gone to therapy several times and it has done wonders for me. If she doesn't get her way, she throws a fit. She refuses to let me be an adult and make my own decisions, whether or not she's okay with the decision. She can't stand the fact that I don't need her to be successful and that I'm starting my own life and creating my own family. Yes, I have relied on her and have valued her opinion and taken into consideration with things in my life, but this is just too much. I've gone to Google, of all things, and it sounds like she has some kind of narcissistic personality disorder. But when I go to talk to her this evening, I have no idea what to do. I plan to hear her out and not react. I'm going to stand my ground and maintain an even tone. I know that she is saying a lot of things to hurt me and get a reaction, but the more she does this, she's going to make a rash decision to not attend my wedding and regret that for the rest of her life. There's absolutely so much to unpack here, but first and foremost, the mom is absolutely in the wrong. This woman is clearly happy with her fiancé, and the fact that her mother is being this childish and ridiculous is absolutely unacceptable. And while I think the woman in this story knows what she needs to do, to make it more clear for anybody who's listening, this lady does not need anything to do with her mother. She is 33 years old on the verge of starting her new life. And from the sounds of it, her mom's been pretty abusive and toxic most of her life. When she gets married, this is legitimately the first day of her new life with her husband. They both love each other and they want to have a wonderful future together. And I really hope the mom in this story chooses to be a part of that future instead of whatever she's trying to be right now, because nobody deserves this kind of treatment.
The full video is on Am I the Jerk, so check out the link in the description for that, and if there are any updates, that's where they'll be. But also, there's a playlist that has all the stories for Am I the Jerk and Am I the Genius, so if you click that playlist, it'll just play one long story after another. This is a good option for people that are completionists and want to listen to every story on the channel. That way it makes it easy if you just want to throw it on in the background and play some games, or work out, or zone out. And the playlist is already here on YouTube, so you don't have to go anywhere.